The day Jay found the journal, it was wedged between the worn spines of ancient textbooks and the faded covers of half-forgotten novels on a neglected shelf. Its leather was cracked, the edges scuffed, but its presence held an undeniable pull, as if it had always waited for his hands to discover it. He ran his fingers across its cover, his name embossed on the front in gold leaf, though the memory of ever owning such a journal escaped him. Curiosity unfurled within, and he turned the heavy cover open. Inside, the pages were pre-printed, each day meticulously divided into 24 tidy lines, one for every hour. The columns asked for nothing but a record. How did you spend this hour? The first few pages held the hasty scrawl of his high school self. Hours labeled study, practice guitar, hang out with friends, late-night snacks, sparse, innocent memories. But most of the journal was blank, a silent invitation or perhaps a warning. That evening, Jay picked up a pen and, almost absently, began to fill in the lines for the day. 9 a.m., scrolled through phones, snoozed alarm, 10 minutes late to work. 10 a.m., emails, mostly junk, barely read. 11 a.m., browsed news headlines, argued with strangers online. The more he wrote, the more the hours blurred together, an endless string of distractions and idling, punctuated by flashes of regret. But when he looked back the next morning, he noticed something peculiar. The ink was no longer quite his own. Short notes appeared in a script he didn't recognize, each line a commentary. Another hour given to distraction. Potential left unattended. Small decisions carve destiny. A chill settled in his chest as he read. Was the journal echoing his thoughts, or did it glimpse something deeper inside him? Days passed, and Jay followed the ritual. He dutifully outlined his activities, and the journal responded with sparse commentary. At first, he tried to laugh it off, a trick of the mind, perhaps, or some old-fashioned guilt reborn by his subconscious. Yet, as the routine continued, the journal's entries grew sharper, more direct. You said you would start writing. Why not now? Another promise to yourself, broken before noon. Dreams drift further every moment you wait. Jay mulled over these messages. They weighed on him during quiet moments and nagged at him as he prepared for bed. Could the sum of his days really be this paltry? He remembered ambitions from school, music that dusted away in the attic, stories that languished in drafts, relationships that faded for no real reason at all. The journal became a mirror, and Jay saw not just wasted hours, but wasted potential. One evening, after reading an especially biting note, "Will you spend another evening letting this hour go unlived?" Jay stopped himself from switching on the television. He dusted off his forgotten guitar, strings dull and cold. The first strum was rough, uncertain, but as his fingers searched for chords, there was a spark of something long dormant. He wrote, too, just a single paragraph, stumbling and uncertain. Yet when he went to fill in the journal that night, the commentary changed. A step taken is a promise honored, no matter how small. With each small effort, the responses shifted from lament to encouragement. Creativity is not lost, only neglected, the page read after a night spent sketching in the margins of his notebook. When he called an old friend, rekindling a friendship he thought lost to time, the journal answered with a soft, handwritten, "Presence invites connection." It was as though someone, or something, was keeping a quiet tally, not just of hours spent, but of intention, effort, and meaning. Jay realized then that time was neither his adversary nor his judge. It was simply his to use or let slip away. He became more diligent, not perfect, but mindful. On rushed mornings, the journal's lines were still honest. 20 minutes lost to anxiety, scrolling endlessly. But afterward, a conscious breath and a decision to redirect. 11 a.m. Played a song on the guitar before work, felt the music move inside. Lunch break, walked outside, noticed the breeze on my face. Gradually, the entries shifted in tone. They became less about how he failed or faltered and more about how he tried, how he learned to redirect himself with kindness. You showed courage by facing your fears, even in small ways. Today, you invested in yourself, and the return is greater than you know. Jay looked around at his small apartment. No grand transformation overnight, but subtle signs. A notebook begun and steadily filling with stories. New chords memorized on the guitar. Laughter echoing from a conversation rekindled with an old friend. The journal's pages filled slowly now, but each page bore the marks of effort, not regret. There were still days when regret crept in. The tempting urge to slip back into old habits, whispering for just one more day, one more hour. But the journal's wisdom had settled in Jay. He understood now that regret was nothing more than a signal, a call for attention, a plea to live more intentionally. As the months unfolded, Jay's hours became his own again. He stopped longing for the perfect future and started shaping the present, one decision at a time. The journal no longer accused or lamented, but reflected, a mirror for who he was choosing to become, hour by hour. Its final entry, written in his own hand, read simply, "Today was well lived." He closed the journal and placed it back on the shelf, its spine now worn from use, its pages heavy with memory and hope. He knew there would always be temptations to drift, to let hours slip by unnoticed. But as long as he remembered to choose, even simply, even imperfectly, his story would belong to him, not to regret. A journal, Jay realized, is only as honest as the hand that fills it, and the future was nothing but 1,000 blank pages waiting for him to write.